Hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in for the second live coding stream for the developing the COVID-19 tracker. My name is Khalid Ahmed, and I'm a software developer. And today we're gonna resume what we done since the first stream. And basically, I will go through a quick recap of what have we done so far. We started developing an application to show the numbers of the countries affected personnel in each country, and we use a web API which producing a JSON for that, and I will go through the main building blocks of this application so you can catch up and follow up of what we have done so far. So first I created the application using the Flutter create command. So through opening the terminal, let's try it, terminal. So what we done is we navigated to the directory we need to create the project files on, and we added, we issued the command flutter create, and then we named the application. After that, we navigated to the application directory. So let me navigate to the current directory that we and then we issued a code dot to open the application files inside VS Code. And this is what we got after doing the issuing the command. Previously we had only the main.dart, and inside the main.dart was the template app which coming when you issue this incremental app. So we cleaned up the stuff that we don't need here. Also there was a stateful widget for the home, we removed it. After that we created 3 folders. One would be for our models, for the model of the JSON that we are creating. The second one for the screens that it will be displayed, which is like the pages inside our app. And the third folder for the services, which contain the networking, for example, and issuing the networking calls, the get, and issuing that and checking the status and parse it back to the application. So we added also the in pubspec.yaml the packages, our packages. Mainly we started with adding the HTTP package, which is responsible for getting the JSON and responsible for issuing the get calls for the HTTP. And after creating the networking.dart, we imported the package of the HTTP, and we added a reference as an HTTP so we can use it inside the calls and inside the class. And then we created a class called networking, and inside networking we specified the URL that we are gonna fetch the JSON result from. And we started doing our HTTP get and getting that inside the response. And then we checked for the response status code. If it's 200, means everything is okay. And then we started doing our JSON decoding and serialization for the JSON. But if it's not 200, if the status code is like, for example, like 401 or have some other value, so we display something now like a connection error, and then nothing will be returned, and by default it will be returning null, so this feature will be null. For the API itself, this is our API, and let me show you the JSON itself. This is the JSON that we got from the API. By the way, I'm using here an extension in Chrome or Microsoft Edge called JSON. I believe it's JSON Viewer Awesome. You can get it from the Google extension place, the App Store or whatever, the Chrome extensions, and you can add it. So it gives you like a nice and clean view of the JSON that you are opening. Any JSON that will be opening, like you can collapse it and open it. Yeah. So this is our JSON, which containing keys and values. The main keys, which we have here a date, we have a list of countries, we have the confirmed numbers, we have the deaths, we have the recovered, the active, and then we have some other delta numbers. It can be added and changed with time for that API. So to start parsing this API, I used a package called let me open a build values. You can build value. So build value give you a much powerful control of what you can do, because you can skip a lot of doing this. Can help you in auto-generating the code. I'm using also build runner on top of that. So the build value provides immutable value types and enum classes, and also providing a JSON serialization that you can do your JSON mean that from JSON and to JSON, and it's easing and doing this in a nicer way. So to fast do it, or to do it quickly, we can navigate to a website called JSON to build value generator. This is the link of that website. And what this site do is we paste here the JSON output that we get from the API. We put a name for that, the main class for that API, and we press convert, and it will produce for us the code that we can use it inside our app as a first stage of doing the serialization for that thing. So what we done here is that we navigated to the JSON input, and we copied all that JSON. We navigated back here, and I pasted the JSON, and I named this COVID-19, I believe, dashboard. And press convert, and what it done here, this produced the code that we need to take it and just to paste it inside our application directory. So to do that, we see here that we have, if we go back here, we have a list of countries. So these countries have some keys inside that. So it created for us two abstract classes. One is called the COVID-19 dashboard, and the other is the countries. Okay, so to do that, we take the library which named the COVID-19 dashboard, and we went to the Visual Studio Code, and we created the file which is countries.dart, and we pasted the code that we got from that code generator. Also, we created the COVID-19 dashboard.dart, and we pasted that code, because we have here the first part is the dashboard, and the second part would be the countries. Okay. After that, we have a serializer class. We created a serializers class, which the code is simple. Just we added the same, imported the build collection and the build value, which, by the way, we need to, before doing that, to navigate to the popspec.yaml, and we added here the build value as a dependency, and I added a build runner and build value generator as a div dependencies. The div dependencies is the packages that it's used only during the development phase, and it's not required during the shipment of the application. So doing that because we're using some code generator. So what I've done here that we created only the two or the three classes, one for the COVID-19 dashboard, one for the countries, and one for the serializers. And then we issued a command inside the directory, which is flutter pub run build runner build. And what this command do is searching for the classes that containing a .g inside the declaration of the class itself, and starting creating our auto-generated code. So this now start doing the job. It take a little bit time to collect and build this Dart tooling thing. And after that, it produced for us the countries.g.dart and the COVID-19 dashboard.g.dart and the serializers.g.dart. So inside this, as you can see, this is the code, a generated code, which is mentioning here, don't modify by hand, because every time this is done by the built value generator, every time we're adding a new, for example, if this API changed or we need to do some changes on the API inputs, outputs or the values here, the types or something like that, we need to rerun this command, which will be issuing and regenerating this part classes, which, by the way, if we navigate it through, we will find here, for example, for the countries, it has like some stuff for the serialization here for the deserialize, here for the countries which are having the probability properties, and it has here a countries builder, and here it has a serializer. So this saves a lot of time instead of doing that code by hand, like to JSON and from JSON, and it's much more immutable, because in Dart it's better to be immutable. I mean, it's built on the immutability. And now, as you can see here, it started to do the generation of the build script. It shouldn't take that much time, but I believe because I'm streaming and opening the simulator and everything, so there's a big stress on the CPU here, so that's why it's coming like that. So after that, we will go back to the networking part. So we done here a future return, which is basically because I'm doing a get from the HTTP call, so it should be async await. So this is async call, and I created an object from the COVID-19 dashboard, and during the decoding the response came in a dynamic, because it's coming like a map, and here we have here the dashboard results, which is the object that I created up, which coming from the serializers, because we have here a serializers that containing the serializer definition for the COVID-19. What is the entries inside, and what is the value, the types of the properties inside, and we deserialized with a serializer inside this dashboard, COVID-19 dashboard. We serialize the data with that serializer, and what does this do? This part do is getting the result and parse it as a normal object containing the same definitions that we applied from the which coming from the web API. So inside here, if you can see in the COVID-19 dashboard, it's basically an abstract class which is implementing a factory. We have here a factory, and inside the factory we have some built value field and what it should be. So in the wire name, this is the name which coming inside the JSON itself, and this is our name, this is our property which we will be using inside the application. So we can change this name for whatever that we need, but we cannot change that one, because this is the fields that it's like it's watched to be retrieved. So we expecting the values here to be active, but we can change here the naming if I don't want it to be, for example, an active. And it's here processing the type. What is the type? Are we specifying the type? What is the type of uh, that property? So after that, we got to build the main app itself. So the screen itself. So we created here a dashboard. This is a stateful widget, which containing a list view. So in the list view, we created a scaffold inside that build method. Let's go through it again. So we have here the class itself, which is the dashboard screen, and we have the state because this is a stateful widget. And in its state, we issued the command which we issued the function to retrieve, or a method to retrieve the data. We will see it here. This is the method. We can navigate to the definition of that thing. So what does this do? Is this is an async method, which doing an instant of the networking class, and then await the method which is named this get dashboard data, and after that it getting the result. When it get the result, we do a set state, and we changing the data object which is inside our state referring to an object of the COVID-19 dashboard to the result which has been fetched uh, from the network call. So inside the build method here, we have a scaffold, and inside the scaffold we have an app bar, which is like showing here. This is the app bar. We put a text widget, which is referring to the name or whatever, because everything we need here to deal with is the widgets. Inside the body, we added a list view dot builder, and this expecting like an object or like a list of object that can be displayed inside the list view. So we know that inside the object which is returned from the HTTP call, it's containing a countries list. So we started to do the item builder, which taking the context and the index, and here we started to add a list tile. The list tile taking a leading and the title and the trailing. And we started with the title. We added the text of this, added a text widget for the titles, which referring to the countries, and we put it as a data dot countries of index, because the index is referring for the index of that's coming inside the list, and we're taking the country, which is a string which containing the country name. And in the trailing, we take the confirmed number, we add it as a text, and on the leading, we started with getting only the country code, but we ended using some package to display the country flags here based on the country code, which coming like in that example here, the country code, for example, is coming like an ISO 2. So we took this ISO 2 and this package, taking the ISO 2 code and getting what's the country equivalent to that code and displaying the country on the right side. So this is like a widget displaying that the data. And that's it. That's what we've done so far inside the app. And now we need to continue what we're adding. First, I will be changing the title. So make it like much more COVID-19 dashboard. And I believe that I exited, so I need to relaunch. So now I'm running the app in debug mode. Again, it might be a little bit stressful because of my laptop doing the streaming and the debugging and building and all that thing, so bear with me. You can drop your questions if you have anything so far on the chat. So until it do its thing here, I noticed that I'm using a wrong package. For displaying these flags, I use the package called country code picker, and the right one should be country code country pickers, I believe so. And the latest is 1.2.1. So what I will do now is I will do the difference between these two packages. The first one was getting us this plus 33 or whatever the country code, like a telephone number thing. The other one is only getting the flag, so it's had a like a function inside, a method inside that we can call, and we can just like give it the ISO2 code, and it will get us only the flag, because I believe we don't need the country code near the flag, because it doesn't make any sense inside that. I will check if the stream is live. Now we have 4. Okay, no problem. No. Yeah. This is live. So I need to go through all this again. I'll just like close that. I need to get the packages, so I need to issue here Flutter get. I need, or just control save, or I can issue the Flutter get. Also do the Flutter packages getting. So I'm doing that because, as I mentioned, I was using a different package that was planned. So now I'll be using the country pickers, and with that it will give us a method here. So if I will go back, I will find here the dashboard is coming damaged. So what I need to do here, I need to use a country. Just using up here, not that one anymore. I'm using import package. And I lost my serial. It's not getting anything. The IntelliSense is not working, which is awesome. So what we will do now is I will be opening the package. So this is live and everything is expected to behave like that. Again, I'm sorry for that. So this is the package that I added, this country pickers. And I will go to the installing. We added the dependency. We issued the Flutter get, and now we can import it. Copy. Go back. Just close that. And I will just paste that here. And down I'm using country picker, country picker utils dot get country code by ISO, and I will just give it the, I believe, the ISO. Let's just take that. And we'll check what it needs. So if I hover here, it should be mentioning country cannot be accessed. I think we need to add the, what is mentioned? The argument type country cannot be accessed, can be assigned to a parameter widget. I believe we need to add it as a country. I believe so. No, there's some type of a country. Let me go back to the so here we should have country picker details dot get flag, get country flag, yeah, that one for a country. So I need that one. That should give us this country flag. Take a country, so we will add a country, and I believe this country needs to be added as a dependency. On the top here, I'll just duplicate that. And I believe I have here should be countries. I think it's country.dart. I'm sorry again, my IntelliSense and everything in the editor is damaged, so I can yeah, I believe that. And inside the country, yeah, now it's working. And I should give it the ISO code, so I will give it ISO. And for the ISO, I will take the ISO code, which coming from here, dot country code. So I need to save that. I believe we have an extra. Yeah, that is extra. Now we can save. And now I can issue the store debugger thing. So again, you can drop any question if you have any on the chat for what we've done so far. I know it's only one viewer now, I believe. Yeah, showing one viewer. So now the application is rebuilding the changes that we done, which changing the package from the country, the old package to the new one, and this might take a little bit time. So until it built, I was thinking that after that we can change the widget from a list tile to an expansion tile. The expansion tile is it's almost like the list tile, but when you click on it or like press or touch the list the expansion tile, it's like scroll expand, and you can put inside some children, for example, that you can add the accounts, which is the active and the recoveries and this of each country, and the rank also, because it's like coming as a ranked based on the numbers which is shown here. So we can do that, and also we can issue one of these things like pull to refresh, so we can, when we do the polling thing, that it can refetch the data from the API. So we can add this functionality also. And also there was a problem or a bug here. So if we can go down and keep scrolling, it's not working now. It's doing the build thing. Yeah, as we can see here, we first we had this error that's coming, like the getter countries was called on none. This is after the application launched, and after we see the application itself, it's coming like that. This is still the old version. We didn't, the new one is still building here. So if we can, if we keep scrolling down here, we'll find some issues. It's very slow. Yeah. So the issue was that after displaying the countries, it started to bring red. There's no error here, but if you can see here, it's mentioning here that there is like another exception was fired, and that's why we didn't. And this is why that's happening here. See here, we have here the range error, invalid value, not in range 0 to 183, inclusive 184. So this come because we didn't specify the length of the list inside the list view. So there is a parameter here we need to add, which is length. I hope the intelligence here help me. Item counts or counts, I think. I believe it's item count. I believe, yeah, item count. Item count. Yeah. And item count here coming from the data countries. So we'll take the data countries with length. So data countries dot length. So I believe that will fix the issue, which is down, coming down. Still building the application. Still building, so we're still working on the older version. Do we have anybody need to ask anything? This stream is still up. Let me check. Yeah, we have only one viewer. I don't know, this is maybe me. But anyway, I'm doing that for a cause, so it's okay for me that the stream will be available afterwards. So now at any moment the application should be up, and now we faced with an error, which is coming. The getter countries was called on null, and then we found the values. Why it displayed that error? So if you go back here, it shows that the following no such method error was thrown building. The getter countries was called on null. The initial value of that data is null, and it takes like some little time to initialize this through the get data. So we can do one thing. Instead of showing or displaying that error during the time that it's fetching the data, we can check here inside the body, and we can do a condition and check if. So we will do here, we will check if data. We close that thing also because I believe it's coming. Yeah. So we can say if data equal null, if data, I don't know what's going on here. If data equal null, so if data equal null, at that time, show a circular progress indicator, yeah. Else show the list view, and if you save that, it will not be showing during the hot reload, but we can do one thing. We can do a hot restart and clear this from here. So it's done the hot reload, but we will do a hot restart to check if it's done the effect. Because hot restart, hot reload, it will still maintain the same state. So if it's maintaining same state, the data still containing data, I need it to be flushed and the network call to be issued from the beginning, and all the stateful widget need to be rebuilt. So that's why I'm issuing a hot restart. And as you can see here, we have no error so far, and it's showing in the corner. So I can do that. We can wrap this on the center. So to do that, we can go to this bulb, or we can issue a command dot. So I will go here and I will wrap this inside the center widget. So inside the center widget to make it like that. And let's see. So it will be centering that thing. Should be doing its own thing inside the center. So now this is the it's just hot reloaded. Now as we can see here, only the flags is showing. I believe the flag should be shown here. I don't know why it's not showing. So we need to check why not. ISO. And yeah, it's showing. It's just like taking a little bit of time. This is coming from my simulator. It's the issue from my simulator, not from the package itself. So we fixed the length thing. We fixed the error which causing the UI to see. Now we can do like little bit scroll down, check what is the entries will be coming, if there we have any errors until we go to the end of the list. And I believe we will have an error, yeah. And where is the error? We can just like start here. Yeah, we can see here that the error coming from it's unable to load asset package country pickers assets. And I believe that some countries, or like one country, I believe this country, this Diamond Princess, doesn't have a flag. So that's why doesn't has a not flag doesn't have a valid ISO code. So we can verify that by going to the API itself, and we can search. Go to the tree, and I can search for the diamonds. Yeah, diamond percent. As you may see here, the country code is dash, which is invalid ISO code. Like, see here, the normal country is coming with a Lebanon coming with an LB. This is coming with a dash, and this is from the API. And to avoid such a thing, we can do a condition that we can either display the text a widget or display a text widget, or not display anything at all inside if the it doesn't contain a two the string doesn't come in a two lengths. The string length of the country code is 2. So we can do that by coming here, and we can check if the data.countries country code. So we will be checking that dot length. If it's equal to, then it will display that. Otherwise, let it just display the country code. But I will put it in a text widget, so we can do it. No, I need to put interpolation, string interpolation like that. So we can save, and at that time I will do a hot restart to check all the changes that we have done. So now it's displaying a dash here, as you may see. Or I can just remove that text at all. I don't want to show the text, so I can let's say that here, just like an empty text. Be showing an empty text or empty place here, or you can put a container even here, so it doesn't affect the UI. Okay, now we will be changing the list tile to an expansion tile. So what we can do here is just changing the naming. I think it's expansion tile. Yeah. And the expansion tile takes a children, and this is widget. So what we'll do here, I will make a column, and inside the column it has children, and the children would be wasn't it children? Inside that, I will add a text widget, and the text widget would be containing the data.countries dot confirmed. We can say confirmed, and then I will do it three times, two more times. One we will add it for the recovered and one for this. So we have it recovered. And the last one for this. So what we can do here, I'll put this. Recovered. Check why it's not coming, but recovered. Yeah. This is. And we can save that. And it's performing a hot reload, and we can check that by pressing any country. The UI, the simulator is killing me. So again, all the delays and the slowdowns is coming from my machine. The engine, everything should be running fine on the devices or the laptops, because I'm doing the streaming on the same machine I'm developing on. That's why it's behaving not normal. I'm doing a hot restart better. So we should see the circular progress indicator in the center as expected, and after a little bit time until data will be fetched. Now the data and the countries came, and we can press here on the expansion tile, and we can see here the confirm and the cover the this, but we can see it's attached to each other, and we need it to start from the beginning here. So to do so, we need to encapsulate this inside a row, the column inside a row. We will put the row start position from the starting. We will put some padding, and then we can put some size boxes between the text here. So we'll start by doing a wrapping. So we'll wrap this inside the row. So to do so, I will be doing control dot or command dot, not control, command dot on Mac. It will be control dot on Windows, and then I will wrap the row. Okay, and then I will be adding some size box between the entries, and also I will put some padding for that row. So I will wrap also the row inside the padding. I will put the padding, and then here I will put some size boxes between texts. Also at the end I can put one. So I will put size box, size box, size box, size box. and it takes some height, so I'll put the height, for example, 5. We'll check. Let's save. We'll check the behavior now. Okay, so it's only affected. What is this behavior? It shouldn't behave like that. Let's make the same. We'll put a size box also here, height, and also we'll put one down at the end. So save like that. Because the all here we're doing a padding on all, and we don't need the padding from the top. So what we can do edge and sets. We can do symmetric. And we can here add the vertical. I believe the horizontal would be 8. Save. Okay, what is this? Coming a little bit weird. I don't know why it's coming like that. So it shouldn't behave like this. I don't know why it's coming a little bit spaces from the beginning. Okay, 5 is not good enough, so we'll put a size box of 10, 10, 10. Also, we'll do some text styling here, so we can do style, and we can text style. We can add some color. So, for example, this will make it red. Okay, like that. And I'll copy that. The recover to put it as a green. Oops. The confirm it, we'll leave it as normal. Also, we can do one thing, we can add the rank on the top. So I will be adding the rank. Copy. Paste. I'll put the rank. And in the rank I'll just put the index. What I will do here, I'll just put the index, and this will show us the rank of each country here. So and in the row I will do the main. Maybe that's why it's coming like that. Main axis alignment should be main axis scanning main axis alignment start. So start will make it from the start of this thing. save. And you should see now the changes that we made, the colors, the spaces, and the rank should be reflecting on that. Yeah. Ah, I believe I understand now why it's behaving like that, because we didn't specify the cross-axis alignment for the column. So if you come here and cross-axis alignment, not in the children, sorry. Cross-axis alignment should be cross-axis alignment start. So with that, it should start or shift this thing. If you don't understand why it's behaving like that and you want to check how the UI is working, you need to inspect it with the DevTools. So you have here the DevTools, and when you click on that, it will show you the DevTools. Let me check where it is. Let me open it again. And the DevTools existing browser, so it should be shown here. Live in my other browser. Check. Yeah. So this is the Dart DevTools, and let me just take that and open it inside our here you can see your widget tree, and you can check what is the values, what is the sizes. So the same widget tree that we draw here, it's in our application in the build method, it's reflected inside the div, the Dart DevTools. And as you can see here, the scaffold, inside the scaffold there is a list view, and there's an expansion tile, and inside the expansion tiles, list of expansion tiles, and each expansion tile, what's contained here, it containing two texts, and we have here padding inside the row and then the column and all these things. And if you want to check the and debug the paint itself, you can press on that button here, the debug paint, and when you press on it, and if you go back to the this simulator or your device, you will find it showing you the borders and everything related to that. Let me try to zoom a little bit on that. Not that, I believe, yeah. I don't know if you can see that clearly now, but as you can see, this is the design, how it's behaving and where everything is located. So now we have, this is our column, which is shown here, which, by the way, if I will put it like a little bit here and press that column, I don't know if to reflect here, but it didn't reflect. But anyway, this is our column and this is our row, and here, as we can see, the main the cross-axis alignment is centered. So what we will do is that we change it now, and we should do the save. Let me go back to the normal viewing, and now it's saving, and we should see the reflection of that the rank will start from the edge here. So the alignment, the cross alignment of the column will be reflected. Yeah, as you may see here now, you can see here now, it's coming, but we need a little bit padding because this is our padding for the row. So I will add an extra 10. Maybe I think it would adjust that. So it will do. So I'll put it as a 10, and we should see this reflection here. Let me just zoom a little bit. I didn't get it because it's just starting, but I believe this is an acceptable result. So let's remove this debug paint. Now this is what we've done so far. So we have now the list of the countries, and the application itself, we change it from an expansion, from a list tile to an expansion tile, and when pressing on it, it's showing the rank, the confirmed count, and the recovered, and the number of deaths for each country. I believe we can do one more thing, that we can do a poll to refresh, so we can do this poll to refresh thing, and for that we will use a widget. We will wrap our list view with a widget. So I will make a wrap with a widget, and the widget we will use is I believe it's a refresh indicator. Yeah, a refresh indicator. So we will wrap the list view inside the refresh indicator. So the refresh indicator widget we have a squiggle line here mentioning that it requires on refresh, and the on refresh, it takes the name of the function or the method that it will be performing thing. So the name of the method that we will be performing is get data. So as simple as it is. So if I will be saving, I'm expecting an error, which I will tell you why. Yeah, this is what I'm expecting, yeah. The thing is, here there is no return, or it's returning a dynamic, but it doesn't need the get data. We didn't specify the return value for it, which is returning thing. So to use it inside a refresh indicator, we need to return a future void. And I believe by doing that, it should work. We will restart, make a hot restart, because we need to do the whole work from the beginning to reload the stateful widget. And yeah, now the application loading and everything is okay. Now just the expansions are fine, and get it here in the center. So scroll down, scrolling working fine. Again, this delay or the slowing down is not from the application, it's from my machine itself, and I'm sorry for that, because I'm doing the streaming and the programming at the same machine. And what we can do, we will go back on the top. scrolled so much down. Yeah. And now we have the pull to refresh. So when I'm doing the pull, just like holding, you see this thing. This is the refresh indicator, and pulling, when I leave it, it calls the get data and the number gets updated. There is no updates here because this we're just like fetching the numbers which coming typically that there is like some calculation they put it for the same day, or it can be not change it periodically. So if there is the numbers in the back end changing, it should be fetching the latest from there. So I believe we crossed the 1 hour mark. Yeah, 1 hour and 15 minutes. I didn't expect to make to be long like that, but thanks for tuning in, and till we meet on the next stream or next video, please leave your comments. If you have a comment, if you have a question, please drop it down in the comments also. You can catch up the stream later. It will be available on my channel, and if you like the stream or like my video, please drop a like and subscribe. And I'm on Twitter with the handle at Kasmaj, KSAMJ, and thank you so much.